Burning rubber, life or death decisions, winners and losers. And that's just Tehran's traffic. But here in Iran, one driver has challenged the existing order, blasting through prejudice and the macho culture of the racetrack. And become an icon for equal rights in the process. This place is full of surprises, because that driver is a woman. Laleh Seddigh, Iran's pioneering female motor racing champion, has taken on Tehran's boy racers and beaten them all, tearing up the form book in the Islamic Republic.
We put the name for the race cars. His name is Akbar. And I like it. It's very fast, and I really enjoy to drive this car because it's very light and with a very powerful engine. And good safety inside, so you can hide it. This is Zorat. This is my race car, not really fast, but it's okay.
Laleh has been a petrol head since she was a child.
I started driving, I was 13 years old. My dad used to teach me how to drive and how to behave with car. At 18 years old, I got my driving license, and then I used to drive fast on the city and highways, going fast to university. Some of the males are not believing the ability of females, and they think that this job cannot do perfectly by female, which is not right.
She burst onto the scene 3 years ago, becoming champion of the 1600 GT class and competing directly with men, something that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. The regime was so put out, Iranian TV was forbidden from showing her on the victory podium.
I love to race, I love to compete. I think it's a sort of responsibility for me because I'm inviting other female drivers to join to the race, and hopefully I can teach to the other females to just believe themselves. Persian females are really strong. They just need to show their skills and show that how they can do different things perfectly.
Laleh was a small child when a popular revolution deposed the dictatorial pro-American Shah 29 years ago. In his place came Ayatollah Khomeini and the world's first Islamic Republic. Women played a huge part in the revolutionary movement, often adopting Islamic dress as a symbol of resistance.
It is just a sign of being together, like a symbol you choose for your organization. Our chador is our symbol for our Islamic revolution.
But when Khomeini imposed strict Islamic law, secular women saw this as an attack on their freedoms.
We were for Khomeini, but now we are for freedom. The Shah pulled the chador down by force. These people are putting it up by force.
Today, the Islamic authorities argue enforcing Muslim rules has allowed more women to join in public life because traditional and religious Iranian families no longer worry about their women and girls leaving home, getting educated or finding work.
After the revolution, women have become involved in science and knowledge, entering schools, universities, the workplace, the civil service and parliament. In some, they showed their merit and aptitude in all areas.
Dawn breaks over South Tehran, and these bleary-eyed college students are a case in point. Today, nearly 2/3 of Iran's undergraduates are female. And Iranian women make up a third of the workforce. There are female doctors, lawyers and engineers. There are also 12 female MPs, but they still can't be a judge or become president. Farida Golab was only the second woman in Iran to get a bus driver's license. She loves her job, but Iranian laws say she can only work with the permission of her male relatives.
Women who are able and want to work here have no problems, providing their husbands allow them. Young girls and women could become very successful. But if my husband hadn't given me permission, I'd been forced to stay at home. That's the family problem, isn't it?
But in the macho world of motorsport, Laleh Seddigh faced an uphill struggle to race at all. Although she had the backing of her father, the Racing Federation tried to kick her out, arguing that a woman competing with men was un-Islamic.
I tried to solve it, and I went to one of these ayatollahs, and I asked a letter from him to saying that there isn't any limitation in Islam or with the Islamic rules to being as a competitor with other drivers who are male.
The Ayatollah ruled that because car racing was a non-contact sport, Laleh Seddigh could race against the men as long as she respected the Islamic dress codes. Female modesty is taken very seriously by the authorities here. This woman is being arrested for so-called bad hijab, or un-Islamic dress. There are even moral police who can intervene whenever they see fit. And such police crackdowns are a regular occurrence.
In one case, I was driving, it was late at night and I had lost the way, and I just wanted to ask somebody for an address, and then my scarf probably had leaned back. I was not properly covered. So, and this guy, later on I learned that he was the head of the Islamic police of Tehran province. So he just noted down the plate number of the car, and then the day after, the police was at the door. They took my father, the car, and I to the police station, and then we were taken to the court, and the car was confiscated for a month, and we had to pay a fine for that as well.
These draconian rules don't apply to men. This football tournament was set up by Opt Sports Limited, who also look after Laleh Seddigh's commercial interests. Not that she'd have been allowed in here. Because of the exposure of male bodies, women were forbidden, not just from taking part, but even from watching. But in Ops offices, 70% of their staff, the very ones who organised the football event, were progressive young women.
More women are being educated and getting education in this country, getting to know other countries, other cultures, and how women are treated in other cultures. We call ourselves the generation of the revolution, or children of the revolution. I see my older generation, I see my mother, people like me, my friends see their parents, and we don't want to go the same way they did, getting married at early ages, sitting at home, having children, and then that's it, just being a housewife. And we don't want to have the same future as, they had. We want to change it.
But a political analyst explained how in Iran, laws as well as tradition were stacked up against women.
It's a society that men govern in every field that you see. In many aspects of legal rights, women are less than men. They are not equal to men.
Under Iranian law, women cannot divorce or win child custody as easily as men. They require a male relative's permission before travelling overseas, while their inheritance and word in court is worth only half that of a man's. But many Iranian women are no longer prepared to accept being second-class citizens.
The expectation of women They expect much more legally or culturally or economically or politically. And the Islamic government wants women to be silent, but women are not silent.
But raising your voice in public can be a risky business. These feminist demonstrators are campaigning peacefully for equal legal rights with men. But the state views them as a political threat, harassing and imprisoning many of those who dare to speak up. Though hardly political, Laleh Seddigh has never been the silent type. It's a race day in Tehran, but down at the track, trouble is brewing. The other drivers were complaining that Laleh and her Saipa-sponsored race team were getting all the attention. Meanwhile, Laleh was busy telling local hacks her rivals were breaking the rules by driving overly powerful cars. On finding out the alleged cheat would be racing, Laleh's team retired, and as a result, the whole race was cancelled. The next day, the story was in the papers, and headlines in this one, Navad Sports. It accused all the other drivers of cheating and of ganging up on Laleh Seddigh because she was a woman. The article was ghostwritten by Laleh herself. She clearly knew how to work the system to her advantage.
As they are doing some tricks or cheating on me, I have to be clever and just really being clever and be one step forward to them.
So what did the racing authorities make of Laleh's maverick PR offensive? Regime loyalist Hossein Shariari runs the Car Racing Federation.
I am totally unhappy with her interviews. She mustn't ruin what talent she might have with inappropriate conduct in newspapers. If she has expertise, then show it on the track. It's not right for her to pop up in papers every day saying, I can do this, I can do that, or there is cheating or whatever.
Despite an obvious conflict of interests, Hossein Shariari is both deputy head of the Racing Federation and a boss of Saipa, the car company who sponsor Laleh. He likes to take credit for all her achievements, even though he had previously helped get her banned.
Laleh Seddigh is my driver, you know? She signed a contract with me. I am the deputy at Saipa, you understand? She's my driver. If she wins a ranking, I win a ranking. She's only flourished in our federation, and I'm responsible for perhaps 90% of her success.
My question is, why, if he created me, why he didn't create somebody other than me? I mean, why didn't he create other champions or female drivers, professional drivers?
This is Nasir Abad on the outskirts of Tehran. It's poor and very traditional in outlook. Unemployment and drug abuse are rife. But even here, Tehran's wealthy and glamorous girl racer provides a real inspiration.
Well now, Miss Laleh Seddigh has reached first place amongst the men. We have women MPs, and if it carries on like this, men will have to stay at home and women can run the country. On the whole, in every situation, women are more qualified than men. That's how it's going. They'll be replaced. Sometime from now, Women will do everything, and it's the men who will stay at home.
But in reality, a woman's life here is very restricted. Although Nasir Abad is only a short drive away from the capital, it might as well be another world.
It's a small community. Everyone knows each other. It's different from Tehran. The girls in Tehran are freer. Here, if you go out, there's those who'll say, so-and-so's daughter's been seen leaving. No one knows where she's been. Even if you haven't done anything, this gossip can create the most friction in your life.
And this is the sort of licentious behaviour village gossips associate with big city life. This party in affluent North Tehran had Western music, women in revealing clothing, alcohol, and unmarried couples dancing together, all officially illegal. Behind closed doors, Iranian women are pushing the boundaries. But Laleh Seddigh's struggle for equality has always been played out in the public eye. She always practiced in her high-powered yellow car, but she wasn't allowed to race in it, as the Federation had expelled her from the fastest free-class racing group after male drivers had signed a petition accusing Laleh of cheating. But she maintains it was all really because she was a woman.
They don't really want to have a good competitor who is a female, and they prefer to compete against other men. And that's the problem, that's the only problem, and they think it's against the traditional rule of Iran.
But she was clearly determined to prove to the world she was as good as any man, whatever the cost. At her garage 2 days before her next big race, her yellow car was nowhere to be seen. Her mechanics were giving what looked like the official blue racing car a new set of graphics. They said Laleh had a surprise in store, but wouldn't reveal what it was. In Iran, appearances can be deceptive. And on these well-heeled North Tehran streets, there is another car-based activity. It's one that turns the regime's moral values upside down.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the road. For some fun. Better not to say that in front of the camera. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go to play.
Hit the road.
In this restrictive social environment, well-off young people looking to make contact with the opposite sex go cruising in their best clothes and flashy cars. The boys call it Doktar Bozi, which means girl play, and Tehran's infamous Jordan Street is the place for action.
It's Jordan Adventure.
But what usually can you expect here then?
Many young people, very beautiful chicks, very expensive cars, very luxury cars I mean, and you know, the young people trying to communicate and try to change their numbers and make some relations between them.
But girls and boys, not just
them. Yeah, girls and boys, yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Here we go.
Okay. It's the girls in the Peugeot?
Yeah. من دوستم میخواد باهاتون صحبت کنه. میشه تو اون کوچه وایسین؟ تو کوچه سوپر جردن. It's okay.
What did you say?
I told her my friend wants to speak with you, so would you mind to stop your car at the next street over there? And she told me, okay, it's fine. Yeah, they're coming. سلام. میتونیم با شماره هامون رو با هم رد و بدل بکنیم، با هم تماس بگیریم؟ برای بعداً اگر صحبتی بود، چیزی بود. حالا شما دوست دارین شماره همدیگه رو ما خودمون داشته باشیم یا نه خانم راننده؟ اسمتون رو که نمیدونم. خب میشه شماره‌تون داشته باشم؟ من میگم من میشه داشته باشم، میگیم بفرمایید. خب الان زنگ میزنم. 283 بگو.
Goodbye. And so what usually happens after this? You call them or?
Yeah. We would send SMS.
Yeah.
Or call each other. And we would plan a date. And after that, blah blah. When there is no bars, when there is no nightclubs here. So this kind of entertainments are the only ways for the young generation to do. But you know, Dariush, this is not the way that we find girls for our life. You know, it's like the way that many boys here in Iran do, but not for everyone. Sure. Because we think the girl that you find in the street, is not so suitable, you know.
The moral police can issue fines to punish this sort of mobile speed dating, but they seem to turn a blind eye. These rich kids certainly think it's worth the risk, but others may not be so lucky.
She's a prostitute. She's a prostitute. Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And she's allowed to be here?
No, of course not.
So, I mean, great danger for her now?
You can find many illegal things in Iran, yes. It's completely illegal. And it's so dangerous for them, you know, because they don't have any kind of protection from government.
You mean they can be put in jail?
Yeah, sure.
Jail.
Yeah, they can kill.
They kill them?
Yeah. They can even be executed for that. For the first time, they will suffer from 100 lashes. Okay. At the second time, I think it's the same, but at the third time, they will execute it.
Last year, at least 3 women were executed for moral crimes like prostitution or adultery. And the very fact that the state is prepared to inflict lethal violence on its female population plays on people's minds.
Well, I've fortunately not experienced such things in my life, not yet at least. I've not been stoned or whatever, but whether you have experienced it or not, that's a fear. At least there's something in your mind, you know, all the time warning you to cover up properly, not to get yourself into any trouble. And I think that's true about everyone. I mean, the fear exists.
Race day. And the only fear Laleh Seddigh seems to have is coming second. But then there's some dramatic news. Laleh's been accused of engine tampering and has been disqualified from racing in her normal 1600 GT group. If she isn't even going to race, how is she going to surprise anyone, as her mechanics had promised?
You need just to think about problem and to find the way to solve them perfectly. Females are now like waking up and they are asking about their rights mostly.
And then something strange happens. Laleh comes onto the track and demands to be let into the fastest group of all, free class, the very category she'd been expelled from. She claims to be at least as good as some of the men. The race referee is furious and wants to play by the rules. Laleh then appeals to Hussein Shariari. Only he can make the final call. It's a tough decision. Shariari would have to tear up the rules to let her race. But on the other hand, she does drive for his team. He takes the referee off for a quiet chat. Hussein Shahriari used to be a policeman, and it shows. An impatient crowd have no idea what's holding up the next race. Meanwhile, Hussein Shahriari wins the day, and Laleh finally gets the chance to race and prove she can win. And they're off. Laleh's back in amongst the big boys and makes an excellent start from the back. Her small engine car is going surprisingly fast and she soon gains 5th position. But then disaster. The vehicle develops a technical problem and she has to pull out early. It's game over for Laleh Seddigh. As the winners step up to the podium, it's a man's world after all. There's backslapping all round. Visibly distressed, Laleh can only watch from the sidelines, and things were about to become even worse. That night, suspicious race officials paid a surprise visit to Laleh's garage and discovered she had repainted her high-powered yellow car blue, then wheedled her way into the free class race. Now facing a lengthy ban, Laleh engaged in a series of crisis meetings with lawyers and family. She admitted switching cars, but defended her actions, saying she was forced to bend the rules to prove to everyone women were good enough to race at the highest level.
I don't know the word they are putting on it, cheating or whatever. Really, we didn't do anything wrong. I don't want more than my right or other females' right. And it's our right to share all the functions here in Iran. And it doesn't matter if we are female.
Iran today is a complex and contradictory place. Fabulous wealth exists alongside dire poverty. The population is both highly educated and steeped in centuries of tradition. While a woman here could become an MP, a car racing champion, or be executed for immorality. Yet society here is changing. Iran's ambitious, capable women are pushing back the boundaries at home, the workplace, even on the racetrack. But the road to full equality will be a long and hard one. And as Tehran's girl racer was to find out, there are no shortcuts.